Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chris Maloney back with you for another edition of CWN Weekly, episode number 36, coming to you live Saturday, April the 24th, 2021. Feels like forever since I've done one of these, but fact is it's WrestleMania week. Kind of burned me out. I was just so used to hitting the microphone, hitting the record button, everything else. But so it's been a nice break, and I started doing it on Saturdays. Traditionally I was doing them on Fridays, and then all of a sudden, the St. Patty's Day episodes, all this sort of stuff. So everything was kind of getting mixed up. But it doesn't matter if I'm doing it Fridays, doesn't matter if I'm doing it Saturdays. It's as long as it's going out weekly. That's all that matters to me. I've also got a wife who's a teacher. She's been teaching, obviously, online from home here in the province of Ontario. So, timing with her has been a little bit different as well, including interviews and everything else. But fact is, it's still nice to be able to do the show on a Friday or a Saturday, even a Monday. I don't know if I could do it on a Monday, but would have to wait and see. But like I said, guys, Chris Maloney here. If you're watching on video, listening on audio, thank you very much. Love to hear the interaction from you guys through email, of course. Feedback at cwnonline.ca, Chris at cwnonline.ca. And to tell you a little bit about my week, it was interesting. So obviously COVID-19 strong, obviously in Canada, especially here in Ontario. We're on lockdown till I think May 20th, I think it is, which is Victoria Day weekend, or right before Victoria Day weekend. So my wife decided to book us for vaccinations. So we got both of those done, myself and her, this past Wednesday. And, Wednesday after it had taken place, shopping, everything else, Thursday morning, chipped my tooth at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I was at the dentist very early on Thursday. But the rest of the day on Thursday, I was just completely wiped. I'm talking, chills going on, fever. I don't necessarily think I had a fever, but I was very hot. Fact is, what else I have going on? Very exhausted, and as well as my left shoulder where I got the vaccination, I was in pain, still in a little bit of pain now, but nothing compared to Thursday there. But by Friday, yesterday, I was doing a lot better. She's doing a lot better as well, but just the initial side effects of the vaccine, so to speak. But so I got my vaccine Wednesday at the dentist. A good $600 well spent at the dentist. Thank you, Manulife, by the way. On Thursday, and then doing the podcast here today. So, I hope you guys enjoying your week. But second vaccination for me is officially in August. As far as the date goes, I got the AstraZeneca one. That date could change, obviously, but August, I think 11th is my next time I can book an appointment to get that second shot there. And it's kind of cool as well. The news story here in London yesterday was one of the Shoppers Drug Marks had some come in. So there was a lineup, and I think 220 people end up getting vaccinated kind of on the spot as well. And the only thing that made sense, I was talking to my wife about this, was the fact is, maybe they were set to expire and they wanted to make sure they got used. Hence the pop-up station, so to speak, at Shoppers, as they called it on the news. But the fact is 220 more people are vaccinated. So very, very good. And talks of maybe we're getting to enjoy a summer. And I was talking to my wife about that too. And I said, you know what, summer would be great. But the fact is, I'm a Christmas guy. I love Christmas. Go back and watch the Christmas episode from last year. You can check that out to see how much I do enjoy Christmas. But, if I get to celebrate Christmas again this year properly, that's all that's going to matter to me. But guys, get vaccinated. It's you're going to be probably miserable the next day. But like I said, I got mine on Wednesday. It's now Saturday. We're live on the air, and I'm feeling better. So, in saying that, anniversaries, birthdays, as I always do. Yesterday was the 37th birthday of the one and only Sam Hands of Stone Stout, born in 1984. Obviously, UFC fighter, has the Adrenaline MMA Fighting Center here in London, Ontario, that he co-founded. And one hell of a nice guy, I tell you that. And like I said, he celebrated his 37th birthday yesterday, 28th. So no more birthdays taking place between now and next Friday, but some anniversaries as well. So the 28th, which is, what is today? The 24th, Tuesday, I think it is. Is it Tuesday? What is the 28th? Wednesday. Huh. Well, there you go. I can't do simple math. But anyways, the 28th Impact Wrestling Rebellion 2019 took place at the Rebel Complex in Toronto, Ontario. That was 2019 that took place. And then the 28th is, well, another anniversary. Owen Hart. This surprises me. Owen Hart defeated Rocky Maivia to win his first Intercontinental Championship in Omaha, Nebraska. That was courtesy of Monday Night Raw. The surprising aspect of it is The Rock actually won the Intercontinental Championship before Owen Hart. So that's the surprising aspect of it. Triple check that fact. It is true. But 28th back in 1997, Owen Hart won his very first international Intercontinental Championship, beating The Rock, Rocky Maivia, which was cool. So that being said, we get into major news of the week. And this is kind of sad. And I went through, watch the video in its entirety, watch the article with regards to the Chicago Tribune, and I couldn't believe it. For whatever reason, you go on the news website for the Chicago Tribune, and it doesn't come up properly without paying for a subscription if you're on a laptop, so to speak. But on my phone, I was able to read the article in its entirety, which was great. And then the video as well, I was able to do it. But to summarize, Steve Mongo McMichael reveals ALS diagnosis. Article courtesy at F4WOnline.com. Former Super Bowl champion and Four Horsemen member Steve Mongo McMichael has revealed he's battling ALS, which is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. I know I got one of those words right. 63-year-old McMichael shared his diagnosis in interviews with Chicago Tribune and WGN. ALS, which is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, is a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and the spinal cord. They go on to say Chicago Tribune wrote that McMichael initially thought he was dealing with neck or spine issue, but it's first suggested it could be ALS during a September 2020 visit to a neurosurgeon at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. In January, doctors at Rush University Medical Center confirmed the ALS diagnosis. A neurologist at the UIC Medical Center said in February that it's likely the disease began setting in 36 months earlier. 3 years ago. That's insane. But in summary, the article itself goes on to say that basically he was having issues, with regards to his neck and his spine. His golf game was off. Just little things like that. He'd be hanging out with his former Chicago Bears teammates, and all of a sudden he'd have trouble opening up a Coke bottle. And, they, played it down to basically football injuries, everything else. But it's interesting when you watch the video and you see the pictures to know the Mongo that everybody knew from the 90s as far as WCW goes, and even being in the corner of I almost said LeBron James, but LT, Lawrence Taylor there at WrestleMania, and then seeing Mongo what he looks like now. It's he's lost the ability to basically move his arms, so to speak. One of his legs has lost full mobility. His second leg starting to lose full mobility as well. And the fact is, he's a wheelchair set up for him. They're looking into a house that's, good for him to be able to do what he needs to be able to do for the rest of his life. His wife, I think they said of 23 years, which is a long time, is there by his side helping him out. His daughter's there by his side helping him out. And it's interesting to hear some of his comments as well, because his speech apparently will be one of the last things to go. And his wife joked about that. It's like, kind of course it is. But in all seriousness, it's sad to see the state Mongo is in. He's still trying to keep his head up. But he said, at this point forward, no more autograph signings, nothing more with regards to public appearances, so to speak. And he's going to, basically outlast this as long as he can. Obviously, a lot of support from the community, a lot of support from the Chicago Bears, who he played with, all the way through to one of his former team members. I forget who it was, building a ramp, I think, from the garage into his porch or something like that, so he had better access to it. But a lot of support coming out. It's interesting because when I read the article, they were pushing $100,000 goal with regards to GoFundMe. And as of right now, that goal's been surpassed. It's at $101,235 as of right now. So they've bumped the goal up to $176,000, which is absolutely insane and unreal. So it's the power of social media. It's obviously the power of, his fans getting to learn about what he's going through. And I'll just read this from GoFundMe here. So Chicago Bears Super Bowl 20 champion fan favorite Steve Mongo McMichael has been diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. Steve was diagnosed in January with 36-month onset. Steve has been suffering in silence for too long. He's paralyzed from the shoulders down. So his wife of 20 years, Misty, feeds him, supports him with all the hygiene needs. Steve's legs are weakening and uses a customized wheelchair provided by the Chicago Bears. And you can read more on that there. So I will post a link on CWNonline.ca, as well as the article, if I can get through the Chicago Tribune without having to pay for the subscription there. But I'll have the article up regardless. But definitely put out the link for the GoFundMe for Mongo. But thoughts and prayers and strength, obviously, with him. It's going to be a tough road ahead, but looks like he's got a lot of support. And like I said, he had the $100,000 goal as of yesterday. I think he was at probably 80,000 or 85,000, and now all of a sudden it's at like 101 and pushing to a 176 goal, which is number 76 in Mongo's eyes, in Mongo's fans as well, means something. So, like I said, I'll have it up on CWNonline.ca with regards to the link, at least for the GoFundMe there. From there, guys, we go into a little bit more major news, which is a little bit different from what I was just talking about here. And just give me a sec. I'm just going to bring up the article. But it's been all over the internet with regards to the past couple of days, the fallouts from it, everything else. So this article right here comes courtesy of SlamWrestling.net. Trashy treatment of released WWE talent leads to backstage shakeup. It's being widely reported. And this is courtesy of Bloodthirsty Bob Kapur. I always like to say Bloodthirsty because that is his official nickname there. But Bloodthirsty Bob Kapur. I can't talk today on the 23rd. But anyways, it's being widely reported that WB made some major backstage changes on Thursday, releasing some longtime staff members in its talent relations department and changing other roles. The issue stemmed from a tweet posted by Mickie James, who was released by the company last week. The tweet included a picture of a box she received from the company that included the personal belongings that she presumably left on the company's premises and were being returned to her. The box contained a garbage bag labeled Mickie, into which her property was packed. And then she goes on to say, "Dear Vince McMahon, I'm not sure if you're aware, I did receive my WB care package today. Thank you. Always blessed and grateful. Hashtag women's wrestling matters." And then she posts a picture of a garbage bag, sure enough, with a little piece of tape on it. It says Mickie with inside of a cardboard box. So I mean, that's horrible. From there, though, criticism against the company swiftly followed. Many commentators calling out the WB is being disrespectful to the popular veteran. Later that day, both Paul Levesque and Stephanie McMahon replied to James's message, indicating that the person responsible had been fired. On learning of the disrespectful treatment some of the recently released talent received on behalf of the company, we took immediate action. Person responsible for the inconsiderate action has been fired and is no longer with WWE, tweeted Levesque. I am embarrassed for you or anyone else who would be treated this way. I apologize personally on behalf of the WWE. Person responsible is no longer with our company, wrote McMahon. So followed up with that. While the responses did not name the employee in question, reports emerged later that longtime senior director of talent relations, Mark Carrano, had been fired. At the time of his release, Carrano, who in the past, obviously Total Divas, usually was at the heavy who laid down the law when necessary, reported to Johnny Ace, who had recently returned to the company as general manager of talent. And in addition to the news, it talks about Rudy Charles, who's a ref. He's been removed from the Department of Talent Relations. John Cohn had been removed from the Department of Talent Relations as well. But he, I read in the past couple 12, 18 hours or so, is back on there. So John Cohn, you guys would know from any of the WB game shows on the WB network. So you can check that out there. But it's interesting. And one of the things as well was some of the former superstars, what used to be the term diva, got involved as well. And apparently the practice of returning property is in this fashion is not new to WB. After James's post, Gail Kim got involved, Jillian Hall got involved, and Maria Kanellis noted that they had received a similar package after their respective releases. That, to me, is complete garbage. Now, I've seen an episode or two with regards to Total Divas. You know, if I tell you this, if my voice sounds off, it's me getting used to the dental from Thursday. I just realized that I'm like some of my words don't seem to be coming out as crisp as I normally am, and me saying this as an East Coaster, but I think it's the dental on Thursday. So guys, keep that in mind. But hopefully next week it'll be all figured out. But going back to my story with regards to the Divas. Total Divas, that is, Carrano played up like he was a jerk, and obviously they're going to play up, stuff like that on TV. But when it comes straight down to it, he looked like an arrogant, jackass, so to speak, and that's putting it nicely. And fact is, when you hear about this stuff happening to Gail Kim and to Mickie James and to Maria Kanellis, as well as Jillian Hall, what a way, you basically you're a superstar, okay? And the fans treat you like a superstar. You put on national TV every single week. And then next thing you know, what happens? Things happen, you get axed, you get fired, you future endeavored, so to speak. And then what happens next? All of a sudden, this happens with regards to Mickie James. To me, that's absolute garbage. I'm sorry to put it that way, but treat your talent better. Obviously, you've got guys like Christian Cage jumping ship. You've got guys like The Big Show, Paul White jumping ship as well. Guys aren't renewing their contracts, aren't signing new contracts. It's a mess. And this is, to me, basically, you treat your talent like crap. And basically, it's going to come out. And it's I could go on and on and on, but I'm going to leave it at that. But definitely newsworthy with regards to, the week, and big news as far as, like I said. And I'm just going to do a follow-up here by Mickie James, because this was huge news with regards to, blowing up the internet, so to speak. This comes courtesy of Post Wrestling. Mickie James issues statement addressing the trash bag incident. So she goes on to say, and, it's interesting because it's 50-50. When I say 50-50, she has a post here. I would like to address this one last time. We can move on. So I have amazing things on the horizon. The last thing I desire is to have any of the talent or any of that tainted with ugliness and negativity. I take zero pride or joy in the fact that someone would lose their job ever, especially someone I considered a friend. I'm confident that Vince and the McMahons had no idea that this is how we were sent our packaging. Or how we were sent packing. Sorry, it hurt a fragile me much more 10 years ago when my belongings arrived on my doorstep, because WWE was my everything. I've grown as a woman, and as a person. As much as we all in this business, I am stronger today than I have been. It's smart enough to know that it wasn't a deliberate attack on me, and it goes on from there. And another comment, though, she issued a statement. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that, as I am equally embarrassed. I know this wasn't a malicious act. However, it did feel very symbolic to how I was presented in the last 3 years. Shots fired. So, I mean, obviously, it's on TV every week. And a lot of people, everybody's got their opinion about it. But the fact is, they treated a legend, like Mickie James the way they did, simply because of the fact that Nick Aldis decided to step up against Bruce Pritchard and say what's going on isn't right. So they punished Mickie James. And then obviously what happened this week with regards to the Twitter and everything else. So, see you later, Carrano. I hope you never reappear in wrestling, because you seem like, somebody who would stab your best friend in the back, so to speak. And, based on, like I said, what I saw in Total Divas and basically what people are saying now, good riddance to you. And that's all I'm going to say about that. From there, we go into news of the week. The Ascension and Awakening of Viktor Part 1, Developmental Days. That was released on the 19th. Bear with me a sec. The Ascension and Awakening of Viktor Part 2, Misery and Laughs on the main roster. That was released on the 22nd. And The Ascension and Awakening of Viktor Part 3, The Future Awaits. That was released on the 23rd. What the heck am I talking about? Jason Clevitt of Slam Wrestling did a 3-part series of Viktor, formerly known as of The Ascension. Obviously, Viktor is a Canadian boy out of Edmonton, Alberta, but a very in-depth 3-part series of articles there on Slam Wrestling. You can check those out, slamwrestling.net, but very detailed. Goes into depth about his career in NXT, his career in the WWE, and obviously what lies on the horizon as far as anything else goes for him, as well as the guy formerly known as Connor. From there, Chelsea Green on WWE release, injuries, Vince McMahon meeting, Kevin Dunn post WB interview that was courtesy of Fightful on the 19th there. I realized too, I didn't have a coffee today, so I'm all over the place. From there, MLW is coming to Vice TV. That was released on the 19th. So MLW, unfortunately, here in Canada, we don't get Vice TV. We get Crave TV. It'll be interesting how MLW is going to play out here in Canada. If it does, I mean, obviously, we can watch them on YouTube. We can also watch them on Fubo as well. But spring 2021, you're going to see MLW on Vice TV down there in the States, which is potentially huge for them as far as what the internet has been talking about. So good for them. But like I said, I'm not sure about anything up here in Canada. This was interesting as well, what I woke up to. So earlier in the week, Charlotte Flair suspended and fined $100,000. That was on the 19th. That was post-Raw. So that's exactly, anybody who saw Raw this past week saw her beating down the official 3 times over, I think it was, smiling about it, laughing about it. And the next thing you know, WB.com puts out an article with regards to Charlotte Flair, being fined $100,000 and suspended indefinitely. Well, it's come out a couple different stories. One was that she was, given the time off to film a movie. And then all of a sudden it came out that she was given the time off to get major dental work done. So that being said, whatever the case may be, she was off TV and storyline, she gets fined as well as suspended. Well, in saying that, it's I saw this today, and this was I had to make sure it was today and not a while ago. But as previously reported, Charlotte Flair's storyline suspension is due to her getting dental work done. During a recent episode of his Wrestling Observer radio show, Dave Meltzer would discuss this and add that she is having a complete makeover because women are made to feel subconscious about their looks in wrestling. This audio clip was shared on Twitter. Charlotte would get to hear it and fired back at the pro wrestling journalist. You can listen to Meltzer's original audio and read Charlotte's tweets below. So some of the comments, I just listened. I thought Dave Meltzer would have learned his lesson last time commenting about women's bodies, but apparently I'm fair game, so I get to respond again to a rumor about my body again. You know what? This is when I stop. Dave, go to hell. And then she follows it up. You have my phone number. It would take you 30 seconds to ask as opposed to giving straight crap to your listeners. Grow up. For you, all people, to comment on a woman's looks, do you have any shame, decency, or professionalism left at all? Find a mirror. Look hard, Dave. So this came courtesy of webisjericho.com. It's interesting. It's... I could go a whole show on what I think about the situation leading into other situations as well. This reminds me of Bruce Mitchell, what he said when obviously, John Huber passed away. These wrestling journalists, so to speak, Meltzer included, seemingly think they can say and do whatever the hell they want to, and they don't have to answer to anybody. I was a subscriber to F4W/Wrestling Observer, and it just got to be the point that I wasn't listening to their audio anymore because I barely could. Him and Brian Alvarez, I used to respect. But their opinions, they act like they're gods, and I'm sick and tired of it. And when I see something like that, with regards to Charlotte Flair, and obviously she's referring to what happened with regards to him, Dave Meltzer, making comments about Peyton Royce. Fact is, when it comes down to it, the only thing I can sit here and complain on my show, I can complain on social media, but the fact is, the best thing I can do is not subscribe anymore. And I probably stopped subscribing a probably good 6 weeks to 2 months ago. It's just simply because of the fact I couldn't make it through a show anymore. And they've got a free show that takes place every Monday to Friday. And sometimes I'm turning it off 5 to 10 minutes later because I cannot stand Alvarez as well, being the jerk that he is and basically saying whatever the heck he wants to and think he has the right to. It reminds me of that old school mentality, like I said, Bruce Mitchell included. Fact is, these guys think they can say whatever the heck they want to and get away with it. And so I'm glad Charlotte Flair called Dave Meltzer out on this. I'm glad, what happened with Bruce Mitchell, him getting fired from the torch. But there are good guys out there as well. John Pollock, Wei Ting, guys like obviously Wade Keller, I respect. Greg Oliver, I respect. Guys like that, you know what I mean? But Dave Meltzer, Brian Alvarez, Bruce Mitchell, they're all in the same category. It's exhausting sometimes, but anyways, move on. ROH Women's Division returns with a new match every Wednesday on YouTube. This was good news. I'm just going to bring this up, guys, if I can find it. I'm all scattered as far as my folder goes, but I'm looking for the icons, obviously. All right, so this was released, I believe, what was the date on this? The 20th. ROH Board of Director member Maria Kanellis-Bennett announced on the 19th anniversary pay-per-view last month there will be a tournament this summer to crown an ROH Women's World Champion. However, fans won't have to wait long to see the return of the women's division. Beginning April 28th, which is this coming week, by the way, ROH will present women's division Wednesday on ROH's YouTube channel. There'll be a new women's match every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, featuring newcomers as well as ROH veterans. No participants for the championship tournament had been announced, so all of the competitors in the women's division Wednesday matches will be able to prove that they deserve to be part of the field. I'm just thinking to myself, thank God I didn't go yesterday, because my speech was probably off even worse yesterday. It's one thing to be talking to my wife as well as my kids and whatever the case may be, but doing a show, I'm realizing how much my speech is off right now. I'm not having a stroke, I tell you that, but how much my speech is off right now. But it's also a kind of a blessing to get me to kind of maybe slow down a little bit when I'm talking. So we'll have to wait and see there. And by the way, I just want to say this, Mom, I'm fine. I know my mom will probably never, ever see this show, but when I posted on Facebook a couple days ago with regards to some of the side effects I was feeling from the vaccine, apparently my wife told me yesterday that my mom was a little bit worried about me. And I was like, I'm fine. If she had read the post comments past that, she would have realized that. But don't get me wrong. I love the fact my mom still cares about me at 44 years old. But the fact is, yeah, Mom, I'm fine. Okay. So if anybody could show this to her, that's great. And next time I'm actually over there, when we're allowed to be around our families again, I will make sure to show my mom this little clip here. This is Rebellion All Access preview of this Sunday's epic pay-per-view was released on the 20th on YouTube. Big news of the week as well. And obviously Mongo was big. Mickie James was big, but Ronda Rousey announces she is pregnant on her YouTube channel. That was released on the 21st. That is huge. So they had big plans as far as WrestleMania go. The return of Ronda Rousey, the return of Becky Lynch. We had no Charlotte Flair. We had no Bayley on the show. Well, Bayley was there, but she wasn't wrestler Bayley, so to speak. But there's a lot of news with regards to Becky Lynch. She's supposed to be driving a big rig truck that came in, and obviously we saw Bad Bunny do that instead. There was a lot of talk about Ronda Rousey making her return as well, and then nothing happened. And then next thing you know, the 21st, which was, like I said, 3 days ago, she announced that she's officially pregnant. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to Travis Brown. Baby, is due in September. I'm not sure if they're going to do anything with regards to gender reveal, but I mean, Moxley and Renee had done it. I want to say Christian Cage because it's next on the list. Cody and obviously Brandy Rhodes had done it as well. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, they get the baddest baby on the planet on the way, so to speak, as WB.com put it. So congratulations to Ronda Rousey, as well as her hubby there, Travis Brown, on the proud parents that cometh, so to speak. WB Untold, Two Dudes with Attitudes, it premieres Sunday, May 2nd on Peacock. That's going to take me back to the 90s. That was released on the 21st. 22nd. Released AEW Unrestricted, Christian Cage. Guys, check out that interview. Obviously, Aubrey Edwards as well as Tony Schiavone doing the interview with Christian. WB posts $43.8 million profit for the quarter. Q&A notes and analysis. That's courtesy of Post Wrestling. I'm not going to go over it on the show here, but it's interesting to know that they have released a bunch of people and still posted $43.8 million profit for the quarter. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Grand Slam winners, gigantic signature moves, WB 2K Battlegrounds top 10. Guys, pay attention to those clips. And when I say that, I mean enjoy them while they last. Because the fact is, WB 2K22 is coming out this fall, and you're not going to see anything more with regards to Battlegrounds. I'm going to say this. I love Battlegrounds. I also was a big fan of WB All-Stars back on the Xbox 360. I'm an Xbox fan, so probably PS3, I guess it would have been for the other guys. But WB 2K22, It's coming out this fall, so enjoy the clips while they last as far as Battlegrounds go. Chelsea Green, another interview this week. What's next after WB release? Matt Cardona, Tough Enough, Vince McMahon, AEW. That was on the 22nd on YouTube. It's in its entirety by the one and only CVV, otherwise known as Chris Van Vliet, Canadian. So, check that out. Canadian interviewing Canadian. And Sean Ross Sapp, with the other interview, is honorary Canadian because of Jimmy Van and Fightful. So, it's all big Canadian connection as far as the Chelsea Green interviews go this week. Speaking of Canadians, Winnipeggers episode number 40 came out this past Thursday. It's titled Let's Go Camping. I haven't seen Winnipeggers in a bit, but some of the titles, I can just imagine what Jericho's talking about in those. So I'm going to have to, if I ever get some downtime, I'll have to listen to Jericho stuff on YouTube. But like I said, yeah, Winnipeggers episode number 40, Let's Go Camping, available on YouTube as far as Chris Jericho goes, as well as CWNonline.ca. You can always find it there. Rachael Ellering revealed as Jordan Grace's partner for Rebellion. That came out on the 22nd as well. I will get more into that when I start talking about the highlights of the week, which Impact Wrestling is one of those. Megan Morant joins WWE. She was on SmackDown last night. She's a new broadcaster, backstage interviewer. Was part of the Patriots broadcast team for one of the stations. So I'm a Pats fan, so I can't say anything wrong with that. MLW welcomes fans back in Philly featuring COVID protocols. This was huge news here because if you ever listen to Court Bauer, so to speak, and some of the stuff he said with regards to fans and protocols and everything else, he's going to do things as safely as possible, and it looks like he's doing it here. So MLW announced its COVID protocols for the return to the 2300 Arena, ECW Arena, by the way, in Philly on Saturday, July 10th. The event will be an MLW TV taping. Limited tickets available at MLW2300.com. Health and well-being of fans, the athletes, staff, and crew, the utmost importance to MLW in the 2300 Arena. 2300 Arena is following city and state guidelines for the latest capacity requirements and safety standards. The 2300 Arena recently replaced all its filters and its air system to HEPA grade. It also added UV lights inside their HVAC system. So the article goes on and on and on. But the biggest thing about this, Pennsylvania's new guidelines as of April 4th, 2021, allow 25% maximum occupancy. God, I can't talk. Maximum occupancy limits to indoor events. The indoor capacity is expected to rise to 35% after April 30th. And again, limited tickets available at MLW2300.com. The cool thing about MLW, when I talk about it, and it's got a lot of connection to it, is they always remind me of ROH. So ROH and MLW, I'd love to see the two companies go at each other. So MLW versus ROH, much the same way we're seeing AEW take on Impact Wrestling more or less right now. So, but I'm excited. MLW July, fans in attendance, which is absolutely cool. But it's this summertime. Like I said, I've got a good feeling. It's a step in the right direction. And I'll get more into it when I talk about indie wrestling as well. But anyways, good for them. Date set for Quinn McKay, Angelina Love match on TV. So anybody who's looking forward to the debut of Quinn McKay, as well as the return, so to speak, of where am I here? Of Angelina Love, it's officially going to take place. And if I'm talking slow, it's because I'm bringing up the article here. I want to say May 5th, but it's going to take place on the episode that airs the weekend of May the 8th. It will be McKay's in-ring debut in ROH, taking on the former champion there, Angelina Love, which should be a good match there. NWA announces When Our Shadows Fall, June 6th pay-per-view. So that'll be the next pay-per-view for the NWA. Speaking about the NWA, this surprised me as well. So something else that I read today was this. Terry Funk recovering from COVID-19. He's him, Ric Flair, Scott Hall, Jake the Snake Roberts. Those four guys right there just seem like they are nothing can take them away from us as wrestling fans, and I love it. But Terry Funk is probably the epitome of that. He's one of the toughest SOBs in the entire world. Terry Funk is currently recovering from COVID-19. Courtesy of Dave Meltzer. Meltzer said the 76-year-old recently contracted the virus and is doing fine outside being in isolation. Amarillo, Texas resident believes he got it from attending church recently. It goes on to say, fixture in wrestling for nearly 60 years. Funk is a multiple-time Hall of Famer, has won singles or tag team titles. So yeah, again, Terry Funk battling COVID, beats COVID. So it's man, he's like I said, toughest SOB in the history of wrestling, so to speak. Saray headlines new class of International WB Performance Center recruits that was released on the 23rd. So new Performance Center people down there in Florida. Talk is Jericho this week has Rich Swann's Rebellion. So if you're interested in Impact Wrestling's Rebellion pay-per-view tomorrow, and why the heck wouldn't you be? Check that out. Interview with Rich Swann on Talk is Jericho. Peyton Royce files trademark applications for her new ring name. So obviously she can't go forward with Peyton Royce. So it'll be interesting to see if Billie Kay tags along with regards to wherever Peyton Royce goes. And I wouldn't bring them back as a tag team. I would put them in a major feud, much the same way Impact Wrestling is doing with Brian Myers as well as Matt Cardona. So, but anyway, her new name is going to be Cassie Lee. And from there, she's got to obviously wait out her 90-day no-compete clause. But fact is, once we get to see the debut of Peyton Royce, so to speak, again, it's going to be as Cassie Lee. So look forward to that there. Bayley is coming for Belair at WrestleMania Backlash. That was announced yesterday, officially on WWE.com. So Bayley versus Belair at WrestleMania Backlash later in May. Lucha Libre and former W star Konnan in need of second kidney transplant. So this I saw today as well, and I'm just going to see if I get the article in front of me here. And I do. And once again, guys, I apologize. I'm still getting used to the dental work I had done this past Thursday. So if my speech is a little bit off, that is why. So Lucha Libre legend Konnan successfully underwent kidney transplant in 2007. It's necessary due to the years of painkiller and anti-inflammatory medication usage. Sadly, though, has now been reported by Meltzer that the former WCW star requires a second kidney transplant. On average, a kidney transplant last between 10 to 12 years. So Konnan's first would be classed as a success. Thankfully, he doesn't need dialysis at this point at present, but it could eventually be necessary. He is currently on a waiting list that is estimated to be 7 years long in the U.S., so he's now looking at the possibility of getting the procedure carried out in Mexico. So thoughts and prayers, obviously, with regards to Konnan on a quick and speedy recovery and getting the transplant that he needs there. From there, last little bit of news, don't miss the High Spots Rebellion takeover. Sorry, don't miss the High Spots Rebellion Facebook takeover. And there, that sounded better. So anybody who's wondering about that, I'm just going to bring up the article here, courtesy of ImpactWrestling.com. This Sunday, April 25th, High Spots takes over the Impact Wrestling Facebook page all day long for a series of Sign It Live and virtual gimmick table events featuring your favorite Impact stars. Here's your chance to get your hands on exclusive memorabilia such as autographed 8x10s and more. And schedule, I'm not going to go through the whole entire schedule, but I'll let you know who's listed here. Jordan Grace is listed. Chris Sabin is listed. Tennille Dashwood with Caleb with a K, as well as Eddie Edwards, basically in the main event as far as the High Spots deal goes. So guys, check that out if you want that with regards to Impact Rebellion on Facebook. And that is it for the news portion. Next for New Japan Wrestling, Dontaku Night 12 preview. So that's officially coming up April 26th, 5:30 in the morning on New Japan World, taking place in Hiroshima, Japan. Biography tomorrow night, and this is going to suck. And I'm not the biography, by the way. I don't know why I pronounce it biography, but biography. The reason I say it's going to suck because the fact is Rebellion is on tomorrow night, which I'll be watching that. I will not be split screening, so I will not have my tablet on one side and Rebellion on the other side. I'm going to have Rebellion on the big screen TV, and that's it. In saying that, I have to miss Biography, Rowdy Piper, taking place tomorrow, 8 p.m. on A&E. Huge Piper fan. Obviously, go back to last week's show. You know that. You know the story of me only getting to see him once, but it was against Ric Flair, title versus title, steel cage here in London, Ontario. It's absolutely cool. So I'm going to put it on the PVR, and I'll have to watch it either later tomorrow night or sometime on Monday. I also miss WWE's Most Wanted Treasures tomorrow night. That takes place at 10 p.m. following the Piper Biography on A&E, and that features The Undertaker and Kane. If you heard me talk on the show recently, I want to get my hands on, original Kane gimmick stuff, including that mask, and I got to search my parents to see if I still have that plastic one. I bought it. I think it was a house show or one of the Raws maybe I went to, but I'm gonna miss both of those because of Rebellion, and it's not necessarily a bad thing either. But I love Roddy Piper, and obviously you can see the book behind me. Usually every second or third week, I'll have it behind me there. I usually switch it up with Greg Oliver's book, but yeah, I mean, check it out tomorrow, guys. If you're not watching Impact Rebellion, like I said, why the heck wouldn't you? Highlights of the week are this: NXT UK, Joe Coffey defeats Eddie Dennis, Sam Gradwell defeats Dave Mastiff, Ginny defeats Danny Luna, and Mustache Mountain defeats Noam Dar and Shaw Samuel. So Mustache Mountain officially returned this past Thursday. Impact Wrestling, which I watched in its entirety, mainly because of the fact, I shouldn't say mainly because of the fact, but because of the fact there was a pay-per-view taking place tomorrow. You might want to do your research and actually watch the show before it. Watch the Go Home edition before the actual pay-per-view to make sure that you're not missing any notes going into the pay-per-view. That would make sense, right? Be a fan. Don't be a mark. Be a fan, but don't be a mark. Anyways, saying that, Impact Wrestling highlights for the week: Good Brothers defeats Decay. Tennille Dashwood defeats Susan. Shira defeats Jake Something. Swan Moose promo in the ring, which is actually kind of cool. So Swan to come out, and those belts look huge. I love the Impact Wrestling Championships because they look like they should. They look like championship belts. The same way the IWGP Heavyweight Championship used to look like, as well as the old UFC title belts. I'm a big fan of those. I guess probably the greatest belt, and I'm not going to say the big gold belt that Ric Flair used to wear, but the biggest belt I'm a fan of as far as WB goes would be the Undisputed Championship that was held by Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, those guys there. But anyway, my point is, when you see Rich Swann with both of these belts, they look huge, and he looks like a champion. So he comes out to the ring, he calls out Kenny Omega, and then basically we get Moose instead. And Moose comes out, and I was expecting Moose to be like, "Look, I'm going to be in your corner. All of Impact Wrestling is going to be in your corner." I thought it was going to be a face turn, but Moose comes out, same theme music, same entrance, same attire. So he's still in that suit, and he basically says, "You better not lose, these titles." And it's basically you're going up for your company in a fight against a rival company, and it's like, next thing you know, you lose this match. Impact Wrestling no longer has a world champion. So it's interesting. I didn't even really think of it that way until I saw this promo, but it made me want to order that pay-per-view even more, knowing that Rich Swann could lose everything. My prediction, you wait for that tomorrow, by the way, but I'm doing a prediction show tomorrow. But anybody who's watching this right now, I'll say this: I'm gonna say Rich Swann is my favorite to win that match, because everybody expects Omega to win, but I'm gonna say Rich Swann is the one who takes home all three titles there. Returning soon to Impact Wrestling, Let's Get Wild. So Taylor Wilde about to make a return to Impact Wrestling. Obviously, it could be as soon as next week. Obviously, Deonna Purrazzo putting the title on line against Tennille Dashwood. It'd be interesting to see Taylor Wilde get involved with that as well, but she could return as soon as next week, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Jordan Grace defeats Keira Hogan by DQ. That's where we see the debut of the one and only Rachael Ellering. I had no idea. I thought they're going to wait till the pay-per-view and have her come out there, but obviously, I didn't read any spoilers as far as the tapings go. The only spoiler I saw with regards to Eric Young blowing his ACL out and still wrestling the match, but the fact is, saw nothing at all about Rachael Ellering. But it was cool to see, her make her debut, and I think she's going to be huge as far as Impact Wrestling goes, and she looked good alongside Jordan Grace. They just look like badasses who are going to beat Fire and Flavor this coming Sunday tomorrow. So, and then main event, Eric Young defeats Eddie Edwards in the like it's in the main event, and then a brawl ends the show. So 8-man brawl at the very end to end the show, and that's what we're left with going into the pay-per-view there. SmackDown last night, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan defeats Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Tamina defeats Nia Jax, Apollo Crews defeats Kevin Owens, and still, so IC title match there. Aleister Black gets a promo, and I was like, what the heck? And I looked at it, and it's all talking about a dragon and how he was presumably brought up, and anyways, it's a good promo. It's probably on YouTube, I would assume, because WB is good at doing the promo stuff on the YouTube there. On YouTube. But yeah, it was a good promo by Aleister Black. It's even better to see him back on TV, which is great. Rey and Dominic Mysterio defeats Otis and Chad Gable. I'm loving the Mysterios. A huge fan of Rey Mysterio. If you saw all the merch I own by Rey Mysterio, you'd be like, oh my God, this guy is nuts. But I'd like to see his boy put on some weight. He's obviously got the height, he's got the look, he's got the passion, but man, he's so skinny. I want to see him put it on the weight there. And then the main event last night, so to speak, was there was a promo. Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Roman Reigns, and Reigns issues a challenge to Daniel Bryan. Cesaro says, look, you got to take this man. And next week on SmackDown, Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. Bryan wins. He wins the championship. Bryan loses. He's off of SmackDown. So it's interesting to see where they're going to go with this. 205 Live last night, Tony Nese, Ariya Daivari defeats the Bollywood Boys. And Ashante the Adonis defeats August Gray. And then finally, New Japan Strong last night. Team Filthy, Kratos and Chris Dickinson defeats Clark Connors and TJP. Rocky Romero defeats Wheeler Yuta. And in the New Japan Cup USA 2021 finals, Filthy Tom Lawler defeats Brody King by TKO to win the New Japan USA 2021 Cup, as well as become the first inaugural. I know first and inaugural, the exact same thing, but he's the first NJPW Strong Openweight Champion. So officially for the U.S., there are 2 titles now. So we get the IWGP U.S. Heavyweight Championship as well as the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship. So cool to see Filthy Tom pick up that win there. Ratings for the week, guys. I'm going to go into biography as well because the ratings were released. Stone Cold Steve Austin, the biography on him, 1,062,000.38 in the 18 to 49 demo. WB Most Wanted Treasures immediately following the biography there. Mick Foley, 766, so 0.29 in the 18 to 49 demo. So both numbers dropped going from one show to the other. Raw was 1907, so 1,907,000, 0.61 in 18 to 49 demo. First for the night, Canada, they had 202,100, 117,200 in the 25 to 54 demo. Adnan, I think Corey Graves pronounced it differently, but Verk, I'm just going to call him Verk. It's easier on me. Verk did a better job this week. I'm still not sold on the fact he should be the main Raw announcer, but he did better this week. So congrats to Verk. I'll tune in next week and see if he can do better again. But he's still learning the ropes. ESPN, obviously Major League Baseball as well, but he did better this week, I'll tell you that. NXT this week, 840.23 and 18 to 49 demo, 27 for the night. Canada outside of the top 10, less than 81,400 viewers. What we got? AEW 1,104,000 for the night, 0.38 in the 18 to 49 demo. Second for the night, Impact was 145, so 145,000, 0.05 in the 18 to 49 demo, 113 for the night. And SmackDown early ratings for them as of today, this morning, 2,042,000. That's the average, and then 0.50 in the 18 to 49 demo. So good for them. Every single show. Where did my notes go? And every single show is doing strong right now, and that is great to see. And honest to God, I am happy the fact that they moved NXT to Tuesdays, switched over Impact Wrestling to Thursdays, because to me it's a healthy balance. And it's great. Young Rock is still doing well, not as well as they did when they first premiered. Just talking about ratings, but they're still doing well. So, but you guys, you can check that out anytime you want to, as far as ratings go, on Showbuzz Daily. So it's just simply showbuzzdaily.com. You can check out the ratings there. It's a little easier when you have websites like obviously F4W as well as Post Wrestling putting them out there. But I've learned how to understand the ratings a little bit more, so I kind of do them myself as far as like social media like Twitter goes, and I'll post them as soon as I see them. And then it's interesting to see the trends as well. But you can check that out if you want to. CWNonline.ca. Go across the top there, and you can check out the actual ratings themselves. MMA Pro Boxing for the week. DC and Hawane. The regular episode released this past Monday, the 19th. Alberta's Bozer to face the Sledgehammer on June UFC card. That was released on the 19th as well. Obviously, it's UFC weekend. One on TNT 3, the 21st that was released. That's up on CWNonline.ca. Report, Floyd Mayweather, Logan Paul set June 5th date for exhibition bout. That was released on the 22nd. Guys, if they're not up on CWNonline.ca already, they will be sometime this weekend. Obviously, busy weekend with Impact tomorrow, UFC tonight, but I mean, it's good to see Floyd Mayweather's name still out there, as well as Logan Paul, who everybody knows from WrestleMania, of course, and the Paul brothers. BC fighter Connolly returns to live action at UFC 261 after extended layoff. That is up by sportsnet.ca, so guys, check that out. But like I said, it'll be up on CWNonline.ca sometime this weekend. And like I said, the main event for MMA this weekend, UFC 261 taking place tonight. Usman versus Masvidal 2, live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, not from UFC Fight Island, not from the Apex in Vegas, but from ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida. Sold out. So yes, fans, 15,000 fans in attendance for UFC 261 tonight. Main event, Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman, as champion, defends the UFC welterweight championship. You can see I'm excited here. Against Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, who's ranked number 4 in the welterweight division. So you've got that, plus there's 2 other championship matches as well, plus the factor in front of fans. Again, that is I told you a couple of weeks ago, anybody who watches this show, I was going to get excited about it. I don't know if I'm going to order it yet. I'll have to get off the show, check out the actual price and see. But I'm excited just to see those fans in attendance, you know. But like I said, that is the main card at 10 p.m. Main event, like I said, obviously Usman taking on Masvidal 2. Prelims taking place 8 o'clock tonight for free. That will be how you can see everything if you're not on UFC Fight Pass. But prelims 8 o'clock p.m. tonight on TSN 5 featuring Tristan Boondock Connolly. He's from British Columbia, Canada. Looks to be the opener as far as the prelims go, taking on Pat Sabatini and a featherweight belt. And then the early prelims, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on UFC Fight Pass. So, guys, I'm excited. Main event's going to be killer. But just the fact that 15,000 fans in attendance, more close-knit, so to speak, than WrestleMania was. But the fact is, we're so close. We are so close. Obviously, perseverance and patience are the 2 biggest words there. But guys, yeah, UFC, like I said, 261 taking place live tonight on pay-per-view there. So as always, I think I'm going to play both promos because I need some water into me. I'm going to take a break here and then come back and talk about Canadian independent wrestling, as well as something that's been close to everybody's hearts here in Ontario for the past week or so. But I'll get more into that after the break here, get some water into me. So guys, sit back, relax. I'll be right back, okay?
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Do you want the latest info on shows and the stars that appear throughout Ontario? Are you looking for information and insight into the independent wrestling scene? Want interviews and information on the big leagues? Then you want Knights of the Squared Circle with Ryan Knight on Coyote 103. Ryan has his finger on the pulse of wrestling in Ontario on every level, and he brings that to you every Sunday at noon. Listen for your wrestling fix with Ryan Knight and Knights of the Squared Circle, Sunday at noon, only on Coyote 103.
Hey, are you getting tired of the grind? Getting tired of the same old, getting tired of living in an echo chamber? Well, if you are, tune in to the Duke You Suck podcast with Duke Durango. We'll be talking wrestling, sports of all kinds, politics, medicine, whatever else we want to get into. What I'm really looking for is for you to go on a journey with me. Perhaps we find some common ground and hopefully have a laugh along the way. So watch this space for the first episode dropping soon, the Duke You Suck podcast with me, Duke Durango.
Hey guys, so welcome back to the show. Usually you see after I take that small little break there, hashtag WeAreCIW on the screen, but not today. I will talk about Canadian independent wrestling, but not at the moment. Obviously, hashtag that everybody sees on the screen right now is hashtag Steven Strong. Instagram, obviously you can see his social media down below there. Steven's Wrestling Journey. Twitter is Steven's Wrestling One. Obviously, Twitter gives you a limit, and YouTube SWJ-Stevens Wrestling Journey, and like I said, the hashtag officially is Steven Strong. So guys, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, the one and only Steven Spice, 9-year-old boy, completely loves wrestling to death. Reminds me when I was a kid how much I loved it. Obviously, anybody who knows me knows I grew up in the East Coast of Canada. So when they played Saturday night's main event down there, it was taking place at 12:30 in the morning, and I would stay up till 2 a.m. as a 9-year-old, as a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? As far back as I can remember, and being excited at 2 o'clock in the friggin' morning as the show's going off the air, you know, and being wide awake as well at that age. And some of the videos I've seen, some of the clips I've seen recently with regards to Steven, same sort of thing. There was one, he was doing an unveil, I think from Pro Wrestling Crate, and he's got this like hardcore death matches video in his hand, and all of a sudden you could see the excitement and you know, that the passion he's got, and especially when he's doing the interviews as well. He recently had the yesterday it was released 1 p.m. And I'll get to that time in a second here with regards to premiere on YouTube that Steven did an interview with Kevin Owens, and you could see Kevin Owens laughing in the interview, just Steven's passion for the business, you know, and just it's tough because on the other side of things, Steven is dealing with this disease, so to speak, called Chiari malformation. Chiari malformation is a condition in which the brain tissue extends into your spinal canal. It occurs when part of your skull is abnormally small or misshapen, pressing on your brain and forcing it downward. Chiari malformation is uncommon, but increased use of imaging tests has led to more frequent diagnoses. Doctors categorize Chiari malformation into 3 types, depending on the anatomy of the brain tissue that is displaced in the spinal canal and whether developmental brain abnormalities of the brain or spine are present. And then it goes on to say Chiari malformation type 1 develops as the skull and brain are growing. As a result, signs and symptoms may not occur until late childhood or adulthood. The pediatric forms, Chiari malformation type 2 and type 3, are present at birth. And then says treatment of Chiari malformation depends on the form, severity associated with symptoms. Regular monitoring, medications, and surgery are treatment options. In some cases, no treatment is needed. So that is Chiari malformation, basically in a nutshell, courtesy of Mayo Clinic. That is what Steven's been dealing with. He's had 2 surgeries with regards to that there. From there, he's had a surgery that took place yesterday. Ironically enough, 1 p.m. on YouTube, his video gets released with regards to his interview with Kevin Owens. At that time, in real life, he's getting surgery. And I'm just going to bring this up here, guys. So this comes courtesy of Crystal Spice, which is his mom, on her Facebook here. And it says, many of you have heard his screams for both you or against you, but no matter which way he went, he always screamed as loud as he could. He's the first one to run and give hugs or hang out after the show just to catch up with his favorite wrestlers. Well, now Steven needs you to please cheer him on. At 1 p.m. today, he will be going for another invasive surgery, this one on his throat and nose for some airway reconstruction, and he needs to hear how many people have his back because he's incredibly scared right now. Please take 2 minutes and drop a well wish or a positive note for Steven. It would mean the world to him. And that, like I said, comes courtesy of Crystal Spice, his mom, on Facebook. So as the video with him and Kevin Owens is being released on YouTube yesterday, he's in surgery. She follows it up on Twitter. Steven is resting now after a few complications from anesthesia and an injury caused during surgery. He wants to say thank you to everyone for their support. And in a few weeks, he hopes to be as good as new. And he cuts a promo much like Chris Jericho with post-surgery, which was kind of cool there. Another follow-up on Twitter, 1 step at a time. He had a really rough night setting off the monitors and needing oxygen. He's having a lot of trouble keeping his stats up if he goes to sleep. Obviously worried mom with regards to her boy there. But I had the privilege to be able to talk with her. I think it was last Sunday. I was watching, I think, one of the A&E shows, and I was chatting with her on Facebook Messenger. But Steven's 9 years old and dealing with Chiari malformation. Toronto Sick Kids Hospital is where the surgery had taken place with regards to yesterday. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He's a tough little guy. He's a very energetic little guy as well. I've never had the honor of actually getting to meet him, but I have seen him. So at the very opening of the show, you see a graphic. At the very closing of the show, you'll see another graphic. It's the same graphic, but it's Steven coming out on stage at the Impact Wrestling tapings that I got the honor to go see back in 2018 at the Rebel Center in Toronto. And he had come out. It was pre-show, so to speak. And it was, I think it might have been on Impact's, the previous show, The Experience, I think they used to call it. But it was Steven coming out with Joe Hendry, and Tyson Dukes was in the match as well. And obviously being affiliated here with London, Ontario, Tyson Dukes huge. But obviously I recognize Tyson, Joe Hendry as well. And then Steven come out, as a manager, so to speak, and then the very end happens, and Joe Hendry knocks Tyson out. And there's another picture I have, and I'll post it sometime soon, with regards to Steven getting the pin on Tyson Dukes. So a pretty cool moment being there. But I never would have thought, being there that night, to get to know Steven through social media, and he's part of the Canadian Wrestling Network, and honored to be part of it, and I'm honored to have him part of it as well. And, to be talking to his mom there last weekend, to know everything he's gone through in life, all the surgeries, he's gone through, as a kid, as a boy. And, he does things like he donates, he'll buy toys and then donate these toys for kids at Christmas time. And I talked to my wife about that and brought a tear to her eye. And then just today, as I'm prepping the show, my wife's asking me, hey, what's going on? How's he doing? How did surgery go? And I said, it's still kind of too soon to tell, but he should be going home probably today or tomorrow, depending on how he is. But like I said, you never know, being at that taping that I was at, it would play out to watching him on social media, seeing that love, that passion, the energy that he has for the business as a whole, independent scene as well as the pro scene, and he just wants to be part of it, and it's like his mom said in the Facebook post there, with regards to being at the show and hanging out afterwards, just to be able to get to meet his favorite stars and cut promos on some of his stars as well, and this and that. But Steven, all the best to you. Please get well, stay safe. Fight through this. I created the hashtag there, Steven Strong, as my way through CWN to basically raise awareness with regards to Steven and his health condition, and as well as just people seeing that hashtag and basically throwing support to him, well wishes, as well as everything else. So if you see that hashtag on any of my social media accounts, or see Steven's picture, that is why, because I'm raising awareness and doing my best to support the little boy there in Toronto. And like I said, 9 years old, and I did my best today to be able to wrap the Toronto Raptors hat. I don't know if he likes the Raptors or follows basketball, but it is Toronto, and it's the only Toronto team I like. And my wife's gonna hate me for saying that, because I am a Red Sox fan. She's a Jays fan, huge Jays fan, and she's also a Maple Leafs fan. So we've been into arguments about sports. But like I said, Steven, get strong and stay safe, and come out of this. And I can't wait to see your next interview. And when COVID's finally lifted, and I'm able to go to a show there in the Toronto area, I'll make sure to introduce myself. And at the end of the show, I'm going to make an announcement with regards to something new for CWN, and I've got 4 T-shirts, so to speak, coming your way. So if you see this, your mom sees this, let me know what size you need, and I've got 4 new T-shirts coming your way. So that's my promise to you there. So like I said, guys, hashtag Steven Strong. You'll see it all over my social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and anytime I can promote it here on this show, I will do it as well. But Steven Strong, like I said, just send him your well wishes, send him your thoughts and prayers. And he, like I said, he is part of the Canadian Wrestling Network, and like I said, I'm honored to have him part of it. And I can't wait till he's up and ready and healthy again, and cutting promos and doing interviews. So Steven, I can't wait to hear from you, and can't wait to officially get to meet you, hopefully sometime this summer. And like I said, we got 4 new T-shirts coming your way, and just let me know what size you need. Okay. So from there, guys, I'm going to go into Canadian independent wrestling talk. And it's tough to talk about Canadian independent wrestling right now, because it's kind of like, if you ever see the the Looney Tunes with regards to the Roadrunner and the Coyote, where the Coyote finally thinks he's going to get the Roadrunner, and then all of a sudden something else happens. Well, it's the same thing with Canadian independent wrestling now. Kaizen Pro Wrestling was supposed to do some shows. They're no longer taking place. Ultimate Championship Wrestling was supposed to do some shows. They're no longer taking place. And I'm going to summarize because it's anybody who hasn't heard about this, and even us dealing with stuff in Ontario, we need to find out what's going on in the rest of the world, much the same way as if I was talking about Alberta wrestling right now. But Kaizen Pro Wrestling on the 22nd. It's funny. I get some water into me. It never seems enough. My mouth is dry already. We are sad to announce that due to the new NS, so Nova Scotia COVID restrictions, and the province being locked down for 4 weeks, our May 15th event will be postponed. Ticket holders can ask for refunds at Ticket Pro or hold onto their tickets for the next show. That was courtesy of Kaizen Pro Wrestling on Twitter. Followed up by UCW Pro Wrestling, otherwise known as Ultimate Championship Wrestling. They posted as well on Twitter on the 22nd. We have tentatively scheduled our next show for June 25th in Spryfield. If you had tickets to the April 23rd, 24th, or 30th show, you have the option of moving your tickets to June 25th. Only 100 tickets can be moved, so it will be the first come, first served basis, or the option of getting a refund. And then says email ucwtickets@gmail.com or call 902-233-3663. And again, two more promotion, so to speak, down there in the Maritimes being affected by COVID-19. So I'm going to say this personally, and this comes from me just being a wrestling fan. With regards to COVID, with regards to everything that's taken place, what I've enjoyed the most since the outbreak, so to speak, in March of last year has been the online shows. So get a group of talent together safely when you can. Record it, and then put it on YouTube. Put it on, high spots or whatever the case may be, and have fans pay $5 for that show, pay $10 for that show, sell it on a VOD basis. You know what I mean? But there's so much disappointment, and not so much here in Ontario, because we've got an idiot premier. As well as we, basically have not seen anything great take place since COVID has existed, so to speak. I think Destiny Wrestling did one show. They did very safely, by the way, but they did one show where the fans were in attendance, and I think it was very early on. But it's like I said, it's like Bugs Bunny at the Looney Tunes show with regards to Roadrunner and Coyote. It's like, the Roadrunner is basically independent wrestling, and the Coyote is us as fans. And we keep thinking we're going to get to see these shows, whether it be the Maritimes, Ontario, Alberta, whatever the case may be. And the next thing you know, it's taken away because of new restrictions or border crossings or whatever the case may be. So as a wrestling fan, please, guys, just let it be for now. Get things in the work. Barry Wrestling's doing their best to get something in the works, which has me, hyped as a fan, so to speak, with regards to the tournament that's coming up. But with regards to everything else that's being done and said, just leave it. If you want to do a show, much the same as Go Hard Pro did for Christmas, or Backyard Pro did for their series, that stuff excites me. Okay, have a weekly YouTube series where all of a sudden you can look forward to something every Thursday at 8 p.m. so to speak. Bordertown Pro Wrestling does that. Okay, but stop with the dangling of the carrot, so to speak, and just be safe. And this goes nationwide. I mean, we're shut down here in Ontario till, like I said, May the 20th. Obviously, the Maritimes being affected as well. Alberta probably. I'm not sure what's going on with them right now. BC. My wife told me something with regards to BC, which is absolutely garbage. Nothing to do with wrestling, but just as a province. But yeah, as a wrestling fan, like I said, Roadrunner and Coyote. And, just wait until things are lifted and stay lifted, and then start planning shows. But stop with the dangling of the carrots, so to speak, and go out, go outside the box and just figure it out and figure out how to do things like a Go Hard Pro, or figure out how to do things like a Backyard Pro, or even New School Wrestling, so to speak. And they're doing their online stuff where all of a sudden you pay $10, you get to see a show on a Sunday afternoon. That's my vent. Anyways, YouTube. See, this is the stuff that I look forward to, is talking about YouTube right now. It used to be Canadian independent shows, but now it's everything that I've seen on YouTube this past week. So, Steven's Wrestling Journey, Steven's Crates Unboxing Pro Wrestling from February 2021. That was released on the 19th. He, by the way, made me laugh in one of his videos because he's not one of those kids that keeps things in the package. And if you look at his backdrop when he's doing a video, you can see that. But fact is, he was going into the figures for AEW, and he was having a hard time opening them. And then he kind of looked straight at the camera and made a comment about Jazzwares making it too hard for kids to open up. It just made me laugh. But anyways, yeah, he gets Steven's Crates unboxing, and I believe that's the one with regards to his the greatest hardcore wrestling matches or something like that. The Duke You Suck podcast welcomes Prairie Wrestling Alliance owner, promoter Kurt Sorokan. I've always seen his name and I don't think ever pronounced it. And they pronounce, I even watched the video beforehand just to see how they pronounce the name. But anyways, PWA owner, Kurt Sorokan. I'll get it right next time. SWJ, once again, Stephen and Brad's Talking Wrestling. Episode number 1 was released on the 21st. Vishy Wishy versus Moonshine Mafia versus Reloaded versus The Wisemen. That came courtesy of April 13th, 2019. That's ECCW Hidden Gems, released on the 22nd. Vidcast 49 featuring Billy Starks. That was released on the 22nd by George Mackay, former interviewee on this show. Well, not on this show, but CWN, you know what I mean. But Straight Talk Wrestling, George Mackay. Episode 87, Revolt versus the Pillars and a tag team title match. Tarek versus Kong and Niagara regional title match. For the Niagara regional title. Oh, I guess it was 2 titles on the line. I haven't seen this yet. But Bordertown Pro Wrestling title is on the line as well. But that's courtesy of Bordertown Pro Wrestling. That was released on the Thursday. SWJ Stevens, like I said, getting surgery yesterday, but he's all over the place on social media this week, which was great. Turnbuckle Talk with Steven Spice and WWE superstar Kevin Owens. Guys, go and watch it. He made Kevin Owens laugh quite a few times in that video. Episode number 93, Steve Brown with Saint Stephen Elias taking on the Street. It's courtesy of Courage Pro Wrestling. That was released yesterday. PWA Wrestling released yesterday as well. Giselle Shaw taking on Beautiful Bay. Superkick presents Unlisted episode number 27, released yesterday as well. And then MPW Rewind, Mitch Clark and Massive Damage taking on Lumberjack Larry and Rich King. It's so sorry, that was released yesterday courtesy of Monster Pro Wrestling, but it's so interesting to see some of the names from the other provinces, because here in Ontario, we watch what I watch, and I know the names and everything else, but we see some of these other names like Lumberjack Larry, pretty cool name, and where was the other one there that I mentioned? Moonshine Mafia from ECCW. So they make me laugh, but kind of makes me want to go and look out and see who they are and what type of gimmick they have. From there, NSW Overload Season 3, Episode 4, released yesterday as well on YouTube. All the stuff on YouTube, most of it, 90% of it up on CWNonline.ca as well. And then tonight, guys, if you're looking for something to watch, you're not necessarily a fan of MMA, Clandestine, I know I pronounced that wrong again. Clandestine, hold on, I think I've got it right. Clandestine Society, Act 2, Episode 2. I saw Mike Maloney sit there and pronounce it. No relation, by the way, but I saw him sit there and pronounce it. And clandestine, I'll get it right next time. But Act 2, Episode number 2 takes place not live, but premieres tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. on YouTube. Look for the link on CWNonline.ca as well as the Canadian Wrestling Network. Slugging with Stephen O'Neill, featuring the one and only King of Pain Warhead, was released this past Tuesday, CWNonline.ca exclusive. So check that out. And as always, check out CanadianIndependentWrestling.ca. For the Facebook group and the website, maybe sometime this year, maybe not, but I'm happy with the group. I'll just put it that way there. From there, guys, Canadian Wrestling Network, so CanadianWrestlingNetwork.ca. Social media, obviously, Canadian Wrestling Network, email network at CWNonline.ca. One Nation, One Network, and Canuck proud. And proud of the network, proud of the members. Playing around with the website right now, by the way. So if you see the website and you see it on, say, for example, your laptop, and it's not playing out too well on your cell phone or your tablet, I'm playing around with things, so I'm going to make it work in its entirety. But I'm giving it a new look. I'm giving it a new feel. I'm going to add new content tabs to it, so to speak. And anyways, I am excited about it. The new look, the new feel of it. And in saying that, I'll have a new announcement at the very end of the show here, which is coming up very, very, very soon. But guys, check that out, CanadianWrestlingNetwork.ca. From there, where are we? Oh, I guess I am almost done. CWN Online coming up within the next week. See, I know I'm almost done because I'm starting to ramble. CWN predicts Impact Wrestling Rebellion 2021 taking place tomorrow, April 25th, 3 p.m. on Facebook as well as YouTube. That'll be a premiere. So that is a prediction show for Rebellion. CWN Recap Impact Wrestling Rebellion 2021. That'll take place sometime on Monday. Not exactly sure when, but it should be mid-afternoon. It's a little bit different, like I said, because my wife's a teacher doing things from home now, so I can't just be within the same area as her, try to report a podcast while she's teaching kids. But sometime on Monday, you'll see CWN Recap Impact Wrestling Rebellion. And then CWN Weekly, episode number 37, taking place live next Friday, maybe Saturday, but it'll be live regardless. But they'll be live next Friday or Saturday, 3 p.m. On YouTube, Facebook, as well as Twitch. Check out CWN Weekly on social media. I'm going to do this first. Maybe I might do a screen. You know what? I'm going to do a screen share. So CWN Weekly on social media. Check us out, social media as well. I just said the same thing twice for whatever the case may be. CWN interview. There is an interview lined up for Monday of next week, a couple days from now, actually. So hopefully everything connects properly. We've been trying to land this for the past couple of weeks. That's why I say that. But I'm excited about this one. It should be a really good in-depth interview. And I'm not going to release any names now, but when it's out there, you will see me plug it like crazy. The big announcement is this, guys. And I want to do... You know what? I'm just going to do it this way. CWN is on Pro Wrestling Tees. Yes, that is correct. So I was sitting there one day and I was thinking to myself, you know what? Everybody else is out there. So where I kind of got the idea was Stephen O'Neill, who's a contributor for CWNOnline.ca, has been doing his interview series. And so with regards to the very end of the interviews, I always make sure to put their plugs in. So social media. But a lot of these guys have Pro Wrestling Tees. Merch sites as well. So in doing that, I was thinking to myself, you know what? I wonder what it takes to sign up for Pro Wrestling Tees. So obviously, if you're a wrestler in the business, you're pretty much guaranteed into it. If you're like a news media site, whatever the case may be, they take a look at you and give you approval or not. And if they don't, basically what they do is they charge you $75. They set up your store and away you go. So, you know what? I was thinking to myself, you know what? I'll just do it anyways. I'll submit and see what they say. And they said 3 days later, and it was a matter of probably a good 18 hours later. They're very quick. And I got approved. So I started setting things up and didn't make it official until everything was perfect as far as the site itself went. But guys, I'm going to bring it up here because I just want to show you the concept of it, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to get rid of some of these banners, and I think I get rid of this top one here as well. All right, so I'm going to screen share, which I don't do very often anymore. And this one. Let's see if I did that right. Hey, there we go. And I'm going to make it full screen. Yeah, there we go. So, guys, you can see the official CWN store on Pro Wrestling Tees. Obviously, you can see the basis of CWN here. So, obviously, January 18th, 2009, very good date in the history of pro wrestling. But obviously, the tagline for Coast to Coast, we've got it covered. Obviously, links to Twitter as well as Instagram there. And then 4 great T-shirts up there on the site. Like I said, Steven. Not O'Neill. He's already got one coming, but Steven Spice, Steven Strong. Let me know your size. I'm going to make sure to get all 4 of these T-shirts out to you within the next little bit there. But whether or not it's you or your mom who gets in touch with me, that is my promise to you to get you every single one of these shirts out to you in your size there. But guys, you can see the 4 shirts there. ProWrestlingTees.com, ProWrestlingTees.com/CWN online, as in everything else that is related to social media for us. But you can see Canadian Independent Wrestling. All 4 of these shirts were designed by me, so I'm not getting in trouble for selling them, by the way. So Canadian Independent Wrestling, we got the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame shirt. We got the CWN logo shirt, and then the Canadian Wrestling Network shirt, which I did a redesign on just a little bit. just to make it look better, because the original design, I had it up, had it launched, and then I was like, you know what? No, I can do something more with this. So what I had done, I'm just going to bring up this so you can see it a little bit bigger here. Hopefully it's still showing on it's not showing on the screen anymore, so you guys aren't seeing what I'm seeing. But anyways, with regards to the shirts there, if I can do this. So the Canadian Wrestling Network, this logo here, and I'm doing the mouse over, and you guys can probably see the mouse. But I made the Canadian bigger and then basically aligned everything. I was happy with that. But CWN is always going to be my baby. Canadian Wrestling Network is something new for me. Canadian Independent Wrestling is something I love, and the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame goes along with regards to CWN. The Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, I might do an altar. So I'll have that t-shirt available just for the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame presented by CWN as a whole, but then I might do classes as well. So I might do like maybe a CWN logo on the back and then just a class underneath. So class of 2021, class of 2022, 22 and so forth. And these will be the shirts as well that I send out to people such as Madison Miles and Carter Mason, as well as Cody Diener, otherwise just known as Diener, with regards to the classes there. But very proud, I should say, to have a shirt now officially on, I shouldn't say shirt, but a store, so to speak, with regards to ProWrestlingTees.com. So very happy, very proud of that. And, like I said, with regards to Steven Spice, Steven Strong, I'm just going to bring this up one more time, just so, guys, so you can check this out. But get in touch with me when you're feeling better, or your mom, and let me know your size, and I'll make sure to get those t-shirts out to you there. But like I said, guys, hashtag Steven Strong, just send him a well wish. His social media accounts are there on the screen. You can also find them on anything that has to do with CWN and social media there. But Steven's Wrestling Journey, SWJ, the promo god, I think Roman Reigns had called him. But he's missing wrestling right now, and with the surgery and everything else, he was scared going into it. But hashtag Steven Strong, you can see everything related to him and the outpouring from the community of just giving their well wishes to the little boy there. 9 years old with such a personality, and like I said, reminds me a lot of me as far as his passion for wrestling goes when I was a kid there. As always, guys, check me out at Chris Maloney CWN with regards to anything social media as far as me personally goes. And I guess that's it. We will be back tomorrow for CWN Predicts Impact Wrestling Rebellion 2021 recap show on Monday, episode number 37, either Friday or Saturday. And guys, that is it for the week. Thank you very much. It's been a long one, but thank you very much for watching and listening. As always, take care, stay safe, enjoy your loved ones, give them hugs and kisses, obviously. And until next time, I will talk to everybody again sometime soon.